What's up, guys? Welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks. I'm your host, Caleb. If you want to support me, you can now follow me on Patreon. Not only is it the best way to support the channel, additionally, you'll get more say in what decks I cover. Special shout out to my high contributing patrons, Newsome, you rock. Additionally, you can always use that TCGplayer link in the description down below to help out the channel. Now, let's get into today's video topic with power level. Today, I kind of want you to be able to identify where all of your decks' power level is at and how you can hit the highly optimized power level, which I think is where most casual decks should be, highly optimized. Now, this will let you know if you're pub stomping, this will let you know if you're trying to go above highly optimized into borderline CEDH, which is that gray area, and this will also let you know if your decks are just below the average chaff, right? So this is going to let you be able, or my goal with this video is to make sure you can accurately evaluate your deck and where the power is at the end of it. Now, first, I'm going to talk about my philosophy when deck building and where I think a casual deck should goldfish, because goldfishing is going to be the key to this. Not only is goldfishing a very good strategy, or very good to just learn the deck, right? If you build the deck, you need to goldfish it. If you don't build the deck, you need to also goldfish it. This is going to help you learn the deck and make sure you're playing the deck optimally. I think a casual deck should be goldfishing around turn 7. Maybe you've got some turn 6s in there, but that should be rare. And then sometimes you'll have a turn 8 in there, and that should also be fine. But if you're goldfishing closer to the turn 6, 5, and 4, and that's presenting a win, you're going away from the casual and you might be going closer to the pub stomping area. Now, I have heard this before. Turn 7 is way too long. And to that, I say that's kind of bullshit. Because if you look at the CEDH tournament average winning turn, it's 6. So if you're constantly winning turn 5, you're 100% pub stomping. Because at the end of the day, if you're winning turn 5 and you have like 100% win rate, your decks are probably just faster than everybody else's. So make sure you can identify if you're that player. Don't be that player. Another thing you can do to identify how powerful your deck is look at the 99. If you're running fast mana, a lot of tutors, and it's high interaction, again, you're going closer to that CEDH realm. And again, if you're running with casual people, you want to stay away from that. And again, this video is for people having trouble ranking their decks. This is not for people that are like, well, my play group plays together and constantly people win turn 5 and everybody's got a 25% win rate. This video is not for you. It sounds like your play group's healthy, right? If everybody's winning the same amount of time, you've got a very healthy play group and everybody's playing at the same level. But if you constantly have one player playing at turn 5, this is for that guy, or it's for, you know, the person that is constantly getting beat by the guy turn 5, and it's for him to try to figure out how to make his deck be able to compete with that, or why that guy is constantly smashing him. It's going to make you be able to understand if your deck's the problem, or if it's the play group or the guy playing the fast deck. So without further ado, and without much more rambling, let's get into it. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure your deck can consistently win turn 7. Turn 7's that goal. So if you can grab your deck, goldfish it turn 7, and that guy's constantly smashing you turn 4, it's that guy's problem. Your deck is at that casual level. Now, if your deck is consistently winning turn 10 and 11, and you're constantly getting smashed by that guy turn 5, what that can mean is it can mean that your deck's not running very much interaction and your deck's not being very efficient with its win. So it can turn his 7 deck into a turn 4 deck, which makes his deck look a lot better than it is, but really your deck's just not very consistent. And it's fine with playing lower power decks. I just want to make sure you can know when your deck is lower power. That way you're aware of it. You don't try to play your lower power deck into high power commanders. Another thing is there's a lot of commanders out here that are just busted. So be sure when you're building that commander that you're either purposely powering it down or you're going full bore, but you tell people you went full bore, right? If you're playing Zexara and you've got Feed from the Real in your deck, that's probably not very casual. Anything that creates an infinite combo with your commander is stepping away from the realm of casual, in my opinion. If you've got a 1-card infinite combo, you can argue it's 3 cards. You have to use the infinite mana. I don't know. You could argue that. But I think 2-card infinite combos that generate infinite mana are fine because you do need that third payoff. But it changes a little bit when that payoff is in your command zone, right? So make sure you don't have the other linking to the infinite combo in the command zone. That's when you're kind of taking a step away from casual in my opinion. Now, I think you do need combos in casual because some archetypes just get dead without combos. You need a way to win the game and combos are fine, but I think if you're going that route, you either need to run a very low amount of tutors. That way the decks, it hits the deck's consistency to a point, and I think the number of pieces need to be around 3. That way you're looking at 3-card infinite combos and you don't have a feel bad. If someone's like, hey man, you just like went infinite, and they get upset, I found most of the time it's either that they didn't understand what cards they needed to stop, or someone's been running 2-card infinite combos and pub stomping, right? That's how playgroups get the bad taste in their mouth from infinite combos. They're just like, I lost out of nowhere. But in reality, you didn't lose out of nowhere. He had those 2 pieces on the board for 3 turns, and you just let it sit there. So it's kind of at that point, that's where the skill level comes in. And I know that might be hurt. I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm just trying to say how it is. That might be on you to learn what pieces go infinite, and just don't let them do that next time. And that's going to be a learning experience, and you're just going to grow as a player from there. Additionally, sometimes it's not you. If that guy's running 2-card infinite combos and they both cost 2 mana, like, and you just won by like a dualcaster mage twin flame, that's not a casual combo. That's on him 100%. I don't think you should be running 2-card infinite combos in casual. That's just my opinion. Another thing I don't think should be in casual is fast mana. I just don't think you should be playing your mana crypts, your mana vaults. It's like my commander synergizes with artifacts. I don't care. I don't think you should be playing those in casual, but that's just my perspective on it. Soul Ring's fine because Soul Ring's just in every deck, and it'd just be annoying to have that conversation right before your game. I don't play with Soul Ring, and then they'd have to take it out and decide what they add in. So just for ease, I think Soul Ring's fine just because it's so accessible and everybody has it. But again, that's how you know if you're playing at the right level or if it's your opponent pub stomping, because that's very important to understand if it was a skill issue, a deck issue, or if they're pub stomping, because from then you can solve it. The number one thing you can do to grow as a player, and I really truly believe this, is goldfish your decks. Goldfish your decks, get it to that turn 7. If it's not at that turn 7, get it to that turn 7, or have someone help you get it to that turn 7. And that can really help your play group and you as a player grow and really make you understand your deck, and you're just going to play it more efficiently. Now, let's talk about players in the scenario where they know they're the most skilled player at the playgroup. They've probably built all the decks at the playgroup, and they just have an insane win rate because that playgroup just does not understand the game as at their level. I'm kind of there in that scenario. I'm not trying to be weird, but the playgroup I'm in currently, they all recently got into Magic. I've been playing Magic for years. There's just going to be a knowledge gap. And so your goal as the guy that has the knowledge gap is to not lower the power of your decks. At first it's lower the power of your decks, right? And then don't build broken decks, and you want to help them learn the game. Don't just, like, when you play something that goes infinite, say, hey, in my deck, this card does go infinite. If you guys can remove it or counter it, do it. I think that is on you as the more experienced player to let them know what your deck does, and they're going to get better that way. If you're just sitting there like, my playgroup doesn't know as much as me, and you're just keeping your infinite combos a secret, not telling them what they should be doing, not telling them how they should be interacting with your deck, you kind of don't want them to get better, in my opinion. Now, it's different if you're like, hey man, you need to counter this, and they're like, hey man, don't tell me how to play Magic. That's on them, right? You can't help that guy. That guy doesn't want help. But if you're actively trying to keep the way your deck wins a secret, that's kind of something you should be doing at higher power level tables. It's not something you should be doing against your normal playgroup that you want to. And at the end of the day, you want them to get better, because them getting better is just going to make you better, because you don't want to be pub stomping, even though you're not, because again, you probably built all the decks. The decks are probably all at the same level, and you're not pub stomping. But by not telling them a better, more efficient way to interact with your deck or to play their deck, you are in a sense not helping them get better. So this is just for players in the scenario where they're the most experienced, they have the most knowledge. You definitely want to be helping them get to their level. And again, you can tell them, hey, the best way to get better is to goldfish this deck. Really understand this deck, show them how the deck works, show them the combos in the deck, show them what you want to be looking for early game, because sometimes players are going to keep a bad hand and they're just not going to do anything all game. So you really want to be having the conversations with those newer players and really helping them understand the game, because at the end of the day, if you're not, they're not going to get better, and you're going to just keep pub stomping them. And then at the end of the day, they're going to lose interest. They're not going to want to play with you anymore. You're not helping them. You're stomping them every time. You might not get an invite back, and they might just play amongst themselves. So again, you want to solve this problem. You want to be able to be stopped from winning, and you don't want that, 100% win rate in your playgroup. So I hope this helped. I tried to cover all aspects: newer players, pub stompers, and people getting into a new playgroup where they're trying to get them into Magic. And I'm not saying you want to sandbag all the time, but hey, if you've got the win in your hand and you know someone, and you know the next guy's about to win, maybe you just let them have that joy for a little bit. Don't be ruthless when you play. Right? That's another thing you don't want to be when you're teaching someone how to play Magic. You don't want to be ruthless. Don't destroy their lands. Maybe don't counter their value pieces. Maybe let them have a little bit. I'm not saying sandbag fully, but I'm saying maybe don't, play ruthlessly. You know what I mean by that. You definitely do. So, like I said, I hope this helps. Let me know in the comment section below if I missed anything. Again, this video is not to call people out. This video is just to help out everybody. Maybe it's like the pub stomper needs to realize they're pub stomping. You need to realize if you're helping your playgroup get better, if you're the knowledgeable player. And then if you're the newer player, you need to realize that you need to actively be trying to get better at the game to beat that guy that has the knowledge. And goldfishing is 100% the best way to do that. Remember, if you're goldfishing a casual deck at turn 7, that means you're probably going to be looking at a turn 10 win, because that's uninteracted with, and that doesn't happen in Commander. You're going to be interacted with. You're going to be stopped. Stuff is going to get removed, and if not, that's another conversation you have to have with your playgroup. Hey guys, we need to start running removal. Not all of it. You don't need a crazy amount of removal, but just maybe 3-4 pieces of single target removal, a couple board wipes, and then maybe some counter spells, and you'll be fine. I try to advocate for about 10 pieces of removal. Some people think that's low, but at the end of the day, I think it's a casual format. I don't think you should be trying to stop everything at the board. So I think 10 pieces, that way you have the outs, and sometimes you just don't draw into them. It's okay to lose a game, and everybody has a fun time. Like I said, I hope this was informational enough. I hope I wasn't rambling enough. I hope I didn't sound like I was calling out anybody in particular. At the end of the day, I just want this video to be very informative and let people know where their power level is as a player and where their deck is at a power level, right? If your deck's goldfishing before that turn 7, you've got a powerfuler deck. If your deck's winning past turn 7, again, you're below average in my opinion. And it's okay to run below average decks. Just know that you either need to switch the deck up or keep it there and play it against lower power decks. The goal of this video is to make sure no one's playing lower power. Everybody comes to the deck with the same skill level, with the same deck power. That way everybody can get to that 25% win rate that people should be at. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Again, let me know in the comments below if I missed anything. Maybe you have more advice for new players, older players, pub stomping. Again, anything's helpful. I'm just trying to make the community better on a kind of ambiguous subject that everybody's everywhere on. Power level is one of those things where it's it's hard to judge, because you go into a thing, you're like, I'm playing a 7. It's like, what does that even fucking mean? No one knows what that means. So hopefully this video kind of helps put a pin in it, where the power levels are, how you can power up your deck, and how you can lower the power of your deck if it's above, everybody else's. With that being said, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I would like to thank my patrons one last time. Newsome, Chicken Salad, you guys are amazing, as well as all my other patrons. You guys are awesome. Really make sure this channel keeps up going, and yeah, I can't appreciate it enough. As always, I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors, and I will see you in the next one.